Hi everyone. Hi, I've missed everybody. I've missed it so much. Last week I took a break. No notice, no apologies. How rude of me. Pardon me and forgive me. I've got our guest Alice, who I'm going to introduce in a minute. But meanwhile, say hello to me, then I know you are there. As you say hello to me, I'm going to go and tag my friends and I'll tell you a little story while I'm doing that. Yeah,
Mm.
it's not really a story, is it? An experiment, more of an experiment. If I told you to carry this glass of water, yeah, for maybe a minute or two, you'll be fine, won't you?
Mm.
If I told you to keep carrying it for 10 minutes, you might not notice it much. It will still be fine. But imagine if I asked you to carry it without resting for hours and hours and hours. If you had to carry it for days, for weeks, what will happen? That is the question. The same thing happens with us. The same thing happens with our struggles, our traumas, everything. Some things are like trivial, we dismiss them, but they will manifest. So today we have Alice Njabi who comes to our platform now and again. We love having her. She's our conscious life coach. It's always nice having her. She's an amazing lady who has a book out as well. So Alice, karibu. I'm Nicolle Hanselmann, your host and your life coach. Karibu, Alice, karibu. Salimana,
Asante,
then I tag everybody. And
Asante
as you
Sana. I'm also doing the same. I am tagging my friends as well. This is a very interesting conversation. Please allow me to just share as we speak.
absolutely, because I also want somebody to say hello to us, then we know that we can start. So anyone who's out
Awesome.
there, say hello to us and join us in tagging our friends. Say hello, where you're joining from, what you think about this topic. The other one really resonated with a lot of us. It was really
Yeah.
good and really important. If you miss it, go back and watch it. All our
Mhm.
videos, we don't delete them. They'll be on YouTube, they'll be on here, but they're harder to find on here. So go on YouTube, you'll find them there. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet. So please do that. They're really important discussions. Like the introduction on there, I've written about how people go like, oh, I'm fine. The question is, are you?
Mm.
Are you? All those
Mhm.
angers that the anger that you always like have in you, that you always letting you have no control over, that just snaps make you go from 0 to 100, and you think you justify it for oh and I mean you this Joe
Yeah.
and I'm thinking, are you fine? Are you really fine? So we have this habit of saying we are fine, but are you? So I say hello to us as we tag our friends and tell them we are on. And we have somebody else here with us. Hi, stranger.
Hi, how are you? I'm so sorry for late.
No,
Having
don't
network
worry.
issues.
Don't worry
Ah,
at all. You're just starting. You go starting. Just go on and introduce yourself as I go on that and tag everybody.
I'm Sonya, known as Fatma. Um, I think we're doing continuous second part of child trauma. Yes, we had a very nice discussion the previous week, and I hope that parents did learn something from it. And parents, we would like to have a feedback from you, or children. If we have a feedback from you, it will encourage us to help you more and reach out to
Yeah.
more people. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always nice when people come back to you and give you their
Mm.
own like feedback or tell you something about it. It really feels good because you
Yeah.
know that at least one person has listened, at least it's resonated with one person, and that's all that matters.
Mm.
At least that little change. And if they can help somebody else, very
Nicole,
soon
can I
we
add
have.
something?
Go on,
The way I
go
look
on there.
the way I look at it, when one person changes, like you're mentioning, at least one person got the message. The way I look at it, when one person gets the message, a whole generation gets the message. Because if I can get it and, change something that I was doing, then it means I get to heal myself. I get to heal my folks, my parents. I get to heal my kids. I get to heal my grandchildren. So it's a whole lineage. we might be looking at it as one individual, but
Mm-hmm.
if you really look at the impact of our actions, it's, I get to heal people around me just from taking the time to heal my own trauma. So sio mtu moja tu peke yake, it has ripple effects.
Absolutely.
True,
Now,
very true.
people don't understand trauma. Trauma is so deep. Trauma is so deep. It could be just watching your parents how they fight. Such little things you're thinking, okay, they didn't physically beat you, but you had to watch people who mean so much to you not get
Yeah,
along, fight
yeah,
every day. How are you supposed to be fine? How are you supposed
yeah,
to be normal? How are you supposed to
yeah.
just integrate with the whole society and people think like, okay, yeah, we also hata yangu ilikuwa mbaya kuliko. We
Mm.
said it's not a competition about who had the worst trauma. It's not a competition. How people react and behave is so different. So, are we ready? Did anybody say hello to us? Guys, say hello to us. To Salimia, say hello to us. And I'm seeing some of my friends are not really Kenyan, so we'll try and not speak a lot of Swahili. I'm seeing Loveness there. She's my friend from Zimbabwe. Karibu, karibu, karibu. Welcome. So, guys, just one person to say hello to us so that we get on with it. One person to say hello to us. No, that's not one person yet. That won't count. That's me tagging tagging my friends. So, yeah. Yeah, we can do a little bit of a recap as we wait, because today we're talking about the effects, isn't it?
Yeah. I wanted
Yes.
to mention something that you've just talked about, yeah? And we were having this discussion with my friends earlier on today in the morning. And
Mm-hmm.
one of them was mentioning how, according to her, she did not have any trauma. As in, according to her, her childhood was okay, it wasn't perfect, but it was okay. Until
Mm-hmm.
now, she sat down and started looking at experiences, yeah? And when she started sharing with her siblings, they
Mm.
are all shocked. I was like, what do you mean you have trauma? If anyone has trauma, it is us. You are dad and mom's favorite child. So unasemaje uko na trauma? I mean, if anyone was beaten, it was so and so. If anyone was really had a hard time, it was so and so. If
Mm.
anyone was the folks are very harsh on them, it was so and so. You are like, the favorite child. And which is to mention what you're just to echo what you're saying, yeah, that
Mm.
we might have been raised in the same family, but we all experienced our parents, our environment, our childhood upbringing in
Mm.
different ways, yeah. And I was sharing
Mm.
with them that I was having this same conversation with my sister, and the things that I could recall about my childhood, she was like, huh,
Mm.
that happened. You remember Siju, the
Mm.
day dad came and did, huh? When?
Yeah.
And for her, the same thing. She was sharing, when mom did, I'm like, huh? That ever happened?
Yeah.
She was like, yes, and you were there. I was like, oh, I was. Because it's
Yeah.
amazing how you can be in the same family, but everyone has a different perception of what is
Yeah.
happening to them. So you can't, the thing about trauma, you can't say, si tulikuwa naye class moja, so how can you say you are more traumatized? See, we were raised in the same family. How can you say you ended up with, no, like you said, it's not about, a fight of who got more or who got less, or I don't know who got away
Mm-hmm.
with it. It's more of an
Mm-hmm.
understanding. This is how my childhood experiences shaped me, and these
Mm.
are the effects my experiences have had on the way I look at myself,
Mm-hmm.
my self-image, the beliefs I have, what I think about men, women, the world in general, what I think about myself, what I am capable of. So this whole topic is for us to understand ourselves better, which is, of course, my favorite topic, self-awareness, so to
Yeah.
speak. Yeah.
Yeah, self-awareness. Welcome everybody. We just this is part 2 of discussion we had 2 weeks ago, and it was about childhood trauma. So today we mostly want to talk about the effects. We went into childhood trauma, all those things. We did all that. So if you did miss it, do watch it. Hi Liliana Kwala Ambido. Welcome, Kia Kianara. Welcome, guys. I've seen who else? I did see Loveness. Who else am I missing? I'm seeing Malkia Beauty. Beauty, is it? Is it supposed to be beauty? Welcome, guys. So we'll talk about effects of childhood trauma. We've got Sonya here with us and Alice here with us. If you have any questions, do ask. Do ask, but we'll try and go deeper today into some of those important things, so that when you come out of this, at least you find some value. Because it's easy to say that, okay, these are the things that happened to us, these are the things that happened to me, but what next? How do I deal with it? What happens to me now? Okay, I do have anger issues and stuff. Then what? So those are some of the things that we want to understand today. So I don't know who wants to go first on the effects of childhood trauma. And sorry, guys, if there's anybody who's watching who still doesn't understand what we mean by childhood trauma, we can do a thorough recap. We don't mind, but it's better if you just go and watch the other, so that we save time. Yeah. So, Alice, you want to go first?
Okay, maybe I can go first by just giving a very small explanation of what childhood trauma is, in case we have someone who didn't watch the other time, so that they can catch up with us. Yeah. So
Catch up,
basically,
please.
when we're talking about childhood trauma, we are talking about negative events, so to speak, that happened, or situations that happened when we were young, and they shaped us in the way that we behave today. Let me explain. Yeah. So basically, when we were kids, yeah, then there are things that happened, there are conversations we had, there are feelings that we felt. Things happened, right? And we grew up. So physically, here I am as an adult with a physically grown body. But what happened to those memories? What happened to those feelings? What happened to those thoughts that I had? Most of the time, we really don't think about those things. Yet, those experiences, especially the adverse experiences, that is what we're talking about today, happened to be locked in our subconscious mind. Yeah. Those experiences shaped us in a way that, oh my God, I don't even know how to put it. Like 95% of our conditioning today, the reason why we do things the way we do, why we appear in relationships the way we appear, why we relate with others the way, when I look at myself in the mirror and I'm thinking, God, maybe I'm not so beautiful, or maybe I'm not good enough, or all those things, came from somewhere, from our childhood, and we've just been watering the same, to date. So this whole idea, this whole conversation, this whole topic is just really understanding how those experiences and situations that happened in our childhood, that we think, ni kitambo sana, it happened such a long time ago, we moved on. Did we really move on? We didn't. We have been reenacting the same experiences, and until
Yeah.
we understand it, we'll just keep on going round in circles.
Absolutely, absolutely. I like what you're saying, and it's really true. But the other point that sometimes we forget, when there are some things that we do that are not necessarily negative, but it still stems down to the childhood trauma you had. Sometimes it's overcompensation in things like your self-awareness on how you look in front of people. It could be maybe always being on the mirror and stuff, always trying to
Yeah.
look perfect and being perfect, and always like what people find vain, when you find yourself being like vain around people, or always trying to speak louder than everybody to be heard. So maybe it could be where you came out from a family where nobody gave you a chance or a platform to speak up your mind, to say whatever you needed to say. So you came out of this world wanting to be heard and struggling to be heard. And you wonder why every time maybe you're in an important meeting, why you can't control it, why you can't just tell that chimp in your head to just quiet it, just let others speak, just do this. You just don't know why, or maybe wanting that reassurance every time from your partner. It is exhausting for them. It is.
Mm.
It's a nice thing to be reassured. It's a nice thing to be affirmed. It's a nice thing. But sometimes when you don't find happiness in yourself and you don't understand why, maybe it's that childhood trauma seeping into your life, and now
Yeah.
you're exhausting the other partner and ending up
Mm.
abusing the other partner by expecting them to be reassuring at all times. So it's not always that it manifests in things like anger, which is the most common and most known.
Yeah.
So those are some of the things that we should totally be aware of, and we don't know, and we live with it every single day. Sonia,
Mm.
you're quiet.
I was waiting for you to finish. Well, to me, trauma is, I think everybody has a trauma in this life. I don't think
Mm.
that there is anybody who can say that I have not been through a trauma. It is just that we don't recognize our trauma. We don't understand our traumas. Like,
Mm.
it is, like she was saying, it's always in our subconscious mind. But we don't, it's either we don't accept it or we don't recognize it. And most of the time, it is we don't want to accept it. We're very arrogant about it. It's not our fault because we don't understand the outcome of the trauma, which has brought us to a point whereby we don't want to accept it. Trauma is something which is not only physically, it can also be mentally. A verbal trauma can hurt somebody more than a physical one. Believe me, it leaves quite a
Yeah,
bad impact
a
on
scarf.
somebody's life.
Mm,
Yes.
mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah,
even children when they're playing outside and the words they throw at each other, maybe sometimes it's insulting, sometimes it's abusive, sometimes it's just a word, but you don't know the impact it will have on the other person. Now, if a
Yeah.
child is behaving like that, there is definitely he heard it from somewhere. And most of the time, the only two places you hear these things from. It's either your home and environment or your school.
Yeah.
These are the two places you kind of hear some things. Now, these kind of things happen when we don't interact with our children. We don't try to understand the different behavior in our children, and this is what happens that the child thinks that he's perfect, he's doing it right, because if my dad is doing it, I'm doing it. That makes me a man or makes me
Mm.
powerful. Like Nicole was just saying that uh, somebody is loud, somebody wants to be heard. I think that person, that child, as a child, was not given enough attention or love. So now the person has become that you have to listen to me, whether you like it or not, whether they have to scream on their lungs out, they have to shout, no matter what impact they put on others, but they need people to listen to them. Now, these kind of people are seeking attention. And I feel very sad that when a person comes to such a stage, and mostly with adults, you'll see when they are high on something, or there is a substance they've used, maybe alcohol or something, there is the time this kind of behavior comes out because they are not strong enough to raise the voice when they are normal, when they're not high on something. So they need the thing that these things are giving me strength to speak, which is very, very wrong. I believe that everyone, when you do something wrong, I'm sure that you do ask yourself, why did I do this? Why did I behave like this? Why did I reply like this? So that definitely shows that you have done something wrong. So that is your trauma, which is fighting with you against right now to let you know that what you did is wrong. And because you went through something in your childhood, now is the time that you are trying to justify that it's right, it's not right. So when you come to a stage whereby you can ask yourself a question, why did I do this? Was I right? Was I wrong? Was the other person right? Was the other person wrong? Please sit and think about it. That by your behavior, like for example, if Nicole is shouting at me and I'm shouting back at her, I don't think there's a difference between both of us. Or why
Mm.
didn't I keep quiet and listen to her and try to understand her point of view? Or why didn't she do the same, vice versa? I think that when people are hyper, they're in such a stage which is a very difficult stage. It can be very harmful to any person. the one who is hyper and the other person on the other side as well. So I think that when one is hyper, the other one should be very calm. Listen to them, let them finish. You see, when
Yeah.
I've learned this from experience in the hotel industry. We see these kind of things every day when people are high. That when
Mm,
one is shouting, let them finish. Don't interfere. Don't talk back to them because that
mm, mm,
just makes them talk more and more and more. It increases their anger. Just look at
mm,
them, let them finish, let them finish talking. When they see that you're not talking back, they will calm down themselves. They
mm,
will know that they are wrong because if the other person is also wrong, they would have shouted back. So
mm,
try and just listen to this person and just try and say sorry for what you're going through. I don't think it makes anybody small or big. If you just say sorry, whether it's your fault or
Mm.
not, I think
mm.
that's the solution we can give.
Yeah, thank you. Brilliant. I did ask that, is there a reason why we don't talk about traumas? And I'm finding somebody has already given us a very important answer that I don't know. I think we should tackle it a little bit.
Mm.
They said we don't talk about it because we are afraid of being judged, fear of recalling it, or even remembering the event. This is very informative session, especially for me. Thank you so much. This is so true. Alice.
Mhm. Okay, I want to just add to that. Apart from we fear being judged, that's why we don't talk about it. There's also the element of we don't know. We think that's how things are supposed to be. When we start saying, in my family we are like that, but then tunakwanga na anger issues.
Eh,
My dad was an alcoholic. My mom was doing what. That's how we are. So don't expect anything else from me. So sometimes it's
tumerogwa
not.
tumerogwa, sijui kwetu tuko hivyo.
Yes,
There's always an excuse for it.
exactly.
True. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So it could be it's and then the other bit is we've come to normalize the things that are traumatic experiences, yeah? Like I remember when we were kids, and back then in matatus and buses, guys would be allowed to stand, yeah, to stand while others
Mm.
are seated. And dudes would take advantage and come and rub off on you, and you could feel it was traumatic. But we had normalized it of Nisawa, as in it happens. You get so when we normalize things that are not normal, when like maybe it's in a setup where I don't know, we normalize shouting or dramatic people, and then we say at short chicks are like that, short chicks are angry. No, what makes them,
No.
what gives them permission to get away with being toxic? Nothing, but we are normalizing
There's
and making
nothing
it
in
different.
biology that's linked to shortness, linked to any of your emotions. There's nothing in biology that
Exactly.
it's not
Exactly.
biological at all.
Exactly. So that's another thing. We have normalized it, and we even make it look like, like it's a nice thing. Another thing that I found out, even this thing that we call FOMO, fear of missing out, yeah? It's actually
Mm,
related to
yeah,
trauma in a way. I'm afraid of,
yeah.
like things are going to, I'm going to miss out on things.
Happen and I'm
I
not
am
part of
never
it.
there. Yes. Things happen
I'm
and I'm
left out.
never there. I'm afraid of being left alone. I'm afraid of being by myself. So I just want to be where the party is. We have normalized it. We make jokes out of it. I should
Yeah.
be able to get to the point where I can relate very well, but I can also tell, by the way, I need some time by myself. There's a party going on. I need me time to just rest, and it's okay.
Mm,
Not, oh
mm.
my God, there's a party going on and I missed. My whole world is over.
I
It's
know.
not
Yeah, I'm
normal.
laughing, but it's not funny.
Yeah.
You know what? You brought up something that is really people don't talk about it, but I hope we will start talking about it. Something that was really common to the girl child, really
Mm-hmm.
common. Ikubebwa kwa matatu.
Mm.
This thing that we used to see, those who don't understand Swahili, I'm sorry. There's this thing as children where we needed to sit on an adult's lap
Mm.
uh, on your way to school. because children were not allowed to sit. You either you stood up or you sat on an adult's lap. And some men, most of them were really weirdos. When you sat on them, and they'll be, oh my God, you don't know what it is, but you just know it's wrong. And I
Yeah.
remember it treated age where I completely refused doing it, sitting on anybody's lap. If it's not a woman, I won't sit on you. If it's not a
Mm.
woman, I won't. I'd rather even walk home.
Yeah.
If I know they wouldn't want me to stand, there's no space for standing, I'd rather just walk home. I really hated that thing. I really hated that thing.
I love that you've shared that, because even for myself, yeah, the experience that I was sharing about, it really traumatized me for a very long time. I didn't know what it was, but all I knew, the guy just rubbing himself on me and feeling
Yeah.
something. I didn't even know what that was, but
And then
it just
sometimes you end
felt
up in school
wrong.
wet. Sometimes
Yes,
yeah,
it
lots of
just
guys
felt wrong. I kept on looking at him as in you're an adult, and he kept on looking at me, those ones of "Uoni nimesukumwa," as in I've been pushed. So do you know, it
yeah.
traumatized me so badly that I'd get into a mat or a bus, and if there's no seat near the window, I just get out and wait for another one, as in it was that bad.
Alafu watu wa matatu they'll be there wanakutukana ati
Yeah.
unaringa nini, and they just don't
Mm,
know you're struggling with something that happened to you in a
yeah.
crowded mat. You see
Yeah.
how the society is so rotten, and that's why we need to have these talks. We really need to talk about these things. So
Yeah.
you say short people, so you and Amasira, you don't know what happened to short people. Maybe it's called us who made them or
Yeah.
Asira so that we see them, so that they feel the space. Because the world has apparently has been made for tall people. So everything for them is reaching out. Everything for them they have to ask for help. Yeah. And they're like, when they're talking, nobody wants to listen or hear them. They will have to be aggressive.
Yeah.
Same
Let,
thing with the black community. It used to happen in America with the black community where people are saying the black women were aggressive, but nobody wanted to listen to them, and they just had to be loud. If you're
yeah.
listening, they wouldn't have to shout.
Let me give an example. A friend of mine was sharing the other day that they were working with the daughter uh, somewhere going home, yeah. Then some man comes out of nowhere and just grabs her daughter's very young daughter, like about 16, and grabs her boobs like this, yeah. And she just lost it. She just held that man like this, yeah. And there was a crowd forming, and she didn't care. She was like, "You can't do this to my child." And now, as I think about it, that was so good because this daughter felt protected.
Protected,
Unfortunately, for so many adults,
but the bigger
mhm,
picture maybe brought back memories. Maybe took her to a very, very dark place, and she knew she will never
yeah,
let her daughter experience it. And now
yeah,
all you're seeing is a girl who overreacted. No, she's
hmm,
protecting that child from what she went through. Maybe she went through
yeah,
something even worse.
yeah,
True.
Really sad.
Very
Really sad. Sonya,
It's
you've been
just
quiet.
I'm listening. I'm just learning a lot today, and I think it's taking me also somewhere back. So yes, it is really, really sad the society we live in today. Like someone said that we are afraid of being judged. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to discourage you, but let me ask: when we are in the clubs, do we even care if somebody is judging you? The way we dress, do we care people judging me? I don't. So why would you care talking to somebody about your trauma? Why would you care that somebody is judging you? When in your personal
Especially
life,
a
every
spouse.
daily life you don't, then you should not
Mm,
care who says what. Because
mm,
if I'm dressing to please myself, and I don't care what people are going to say. I don't care about people's
yeah.
judgment. Then I think I'm strong enough. I should not care about what people say. And then on Facebook, I'm sorry, we are all of us. We also judge
Mm,
people. We'll see
mm,
a nice story. We'll go putting our comments there. We've already judged that person. We don't even know
mm.
the A to Z of the story.
No.
We've just
mm,
seen the
Mm-mm.
A and the C. The rest will conclude ourselves. So we've already started judging people, but we don't
Yeah.
care doing that. So why should I care that if somebody is judging me?
Mm,
Please do not care about who says what, because if you live in that who cares, who says what about you, You will be stuck there
Mm.
for the rest of your life. You are a strong person. You're a human being and you're a blessed person. To be a human, first of all, is a blessing. It's a very big blessing to be a human.
Mm.
But sadly, today, humans are behaving like monsters, which saddens me more. A blessing you have. Please be strong. Do not, I'd say again, care about what somebody thinks about you. My dear, if you're my sister or brother, I can't see your name. So, when you don't have food in your house, which judgment is coming to help you? When you are in trouble, which judgment is coming to help you? So, why would you even care what they say about you? Why would you? Aren't you carrying your own luggage on your own shoulders? Then why should you even care what people say? Please come out, talk to us. We are here. We are trying to reach to as many people as possible. If anybody needs to talk, we are all here. If you need to talk to us privately, anyone can DM us any time of the day. We are all there for you. So please feel free and talk to us. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. Yeah, it's really important we have this conversation. That is without, we can't argue
Mm.
about that. Goes without saying. So, did you prepare a lot of things about the effects of trauma in our lives so that we at least we make sure that we've tackled everything, Alice? And then that traumas are real. I'm suffering from fatherly affection, and since he denied me money when he had every time someone doesn't give me what I feel, they hate me. This has sabotaged my relationship.
Oh,
Traumas are real. I'm suffering from fatherly affection, and since he denied me money when he had every time someone doesn't give me what I feel, they hate me. This has sabotaged my relationship. I think I understand what you're saying,
Mm.
and I think that is very common thing, and it's one of those things that really needs somebody to go through help, because it's a deep one. You can't just like look at the surface of everything, because he probably also has his own trauma that he's dealing with, or his own problems, and now you're coming to him from a point of you were never there, so you are hoping him to compensate that with money, and he maybe is feeling like we don't have a relationship. How do I give you money? And then you take that anger and disappointment and all those things that happen to you into your relationship, and the only thing I can tell you is kudos. Well done, you are aware of it. You are
Mm.
aware of it, and it's really good that you know where the problem comes from. Really good. But I think some of these things really do need help. I'll let Alice do answer that one for us, please.
Okay, you've answered it very well. And I just wanted to add, yeah,
Mm,
especially for us ladies, women, girls, yeah, our first interaction with the opposite gender is always the father. So the connection or the relationship with the father will set pace for every other relationship that we have, especially for intimate relationships. Yeah. Then here goes the lack of connection with our, with our father when we were children will affect how we show up in our relationships. And I love the example that she's given because it's quite outright, that she felt when the dad wasn't giving her, it was a sign that he's not approving of her, he's not expressing his affection. So what she is doing, she's reenacting the same relationship she had with her dad. It could be the guy is wondering, by the way, unanitisha nini? It makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah.
As in, ana ubaya, as in, it's actually from a point where, okay, why are you asking? I don't see the need to. Then her, because we don't see things as they are. We see
Mm,
things from the lenses that we have, yeah, those
mm,
experiences that we had. So, for
mm,
example, if it was the same lady, but where maybe the dad was not giving her money, but it was encouraging her to go get money. Yeah. Like,
mm.
let me give my example. I remember when I was in high school, nilikuwa napatia pocket money, 100 bob only. And what I would
Oh.
do, of course, and I wanted to go eat biscuits and mandazis and all. So
Mm,
I'd go to school and I figure, okay, so I only have 100 bob and I want to eat loaf and manda. So, but I have physical strength. I can go to the tuck shop and buy people, the mandazis, and they pay me. So for me, Unona, it's the same nini, but I never took it as my dad does not love me. I took it as I've been given 100 bob. I need to figure out how to make money. And
Yeah.
and the same experience shaped me in a different way. It opened my eyes.
Yeah.
Why? Because I just looked at it differently. Then,
Yeah.
coming from now, we could be in the same situation, but we are reacting totally different. Because if today I am in a relationship with a man who doesn't give me, I'll be like, okay, fine, nitaenda kutafuta. Why? Because I don't have the background story that I told myself that that doesn't love me. That's why he gave me 100 bob. Imagine if I'd told myself that, because most of the time experiences happened. Then what we did, we had to tell ourselves a story to make sense of it, because the brain
Yeah.
doesn't let vitu zimebaki tu hanging. So everything that we have, whether good or bad, imagine it's a story we told ourselves.
Yeah.
And it and another thing to add, yeah, we're just victims of victims. Maybe the dad was brought up the same way. Maybe the
Yeah.
dad wasn't not even doing it out of malice. He was doing it out
Yeah.
of nikikupatia nyingi sana utaharibika. Like my dad used to ask, why am I giving you more? Why you carrying 3 liters of juice? No, you'll be a spoiled child. So there was no
Yeah.
argument there. He was actually doing it out of love. And me, I'm thinking, Dad, unaninyima. As in, it doesn't make sense. But since umeninyima, nitaenda kujitafutia. But you see, it's all stories that we have told ourselves. So just
Yeah.
learning what is the story that I told myself and how is it affecting my relationships today. Then,
Yeah.
as Sonya mentioned, communication, understanding, you know what, let me express myself so that my partner understands. When I ask for something and you don't give it to me,
Yeah.
this is how it makes me feel. And it's coming from 1, 2, 3. So that if your partner really, wants to build a good relationship, even when you're sulking, they can understand and they tell you, hey, babe, no, you're sulking and we talked about it. Or maybe tell you, I may not have 100 bob, but I have 30 shillings. But it's all about communication. But here's the thing, if I don't understand what is going on, how can I communicate that to my partner? And then when it comes to relationship and childhood trauma, we actually get a match. As in, so if, like, let's say I grew up with a father who was emotionally unavailable, then I don't know how to express myself emotionally. What I
Yeah.
will most likely, I will attract
Yeah.
a partner who does not know how to express themselves emotionally.
Yeah.
They're emotionally unavailable. Why?
Yeah.
Because that is what is familiar to me. I might
Yeah.
want a healthy relationship, a man who loves me, expresses himself, and all that, but I don't know how to handle it. So I'd
Yeah.
rather just, and we don't even do this consciously. No one ever sits and says, I have issues trusting men, so I will attract a man that I can't trust. No one goes saying that. But it is so automatic that like attracts like. So if I have trust issues that I grew up with, then it will replay in the same meaning in my relationship the same way. And the same thing for a man. The reason why a man would keep on asking a woman, uko wapi? Na nani? It's insecurity that stems from way back. Utapatata, it has nothing to do with that relationship. Someone is just reenacting the same thing over and over.
Absolutely. Beautiful, beautiful. It's so true. Malkia, one thing I'll tell you, first here we have coaches and mentors and stuff. So there's not like a proper therapist, but some of us are talking from our own experiences and our own knowledge and stuff. But for me, what I'll say from what I say, Alice has said a lot of the things that I want you to know and understand. You have to reach a point where you separate a lot of these things. Separate money from love. separate your fatherly love, what people say call daddy's issue if you did never had, from your spouse's love. Separate all these things, and then you'll have a better perspective on how to deal with it. So if it's your dad's love that you miss, or his affection or attention or whatever, try and find, like we said, the things like communication. Try and find ways that you can align yourself with his energy so that you can get that love that you miss from him. But money doesn't solve that issue. Money doesn't solve that issue. In fact, it sometimes makes things worse. And even if he did give you that money, you won't have a relationship with him still. You'll just make him your bank. So you'll just be coming back for money, thinking that if he gives you money, that is love. It's got nothing to do with love. If you wanted that money for something because you really needed it, that's a different situation altogether. And then there's another thing that happens in our lives is assumption. It's a killer of everything. You probably are assuming that he knows how to love you or he knows how to love. You're probably assuming he's got money. Yeah, you're probably assuming that he needs to understand your situation. He's not an angel, and some of these things have to start from the grassroots on why this problem is even exists in the first place. But I do understand. For me, I also never had my dad around. I do understand what it is for a female not to have that figure. A lot of us will end up like attracting the wrong kind of people who are like our father's age, so that you compensate for that. We try and fill that gap, but that gap can be filled with anybody else. That was daddy's job in quotes. That was daddy's job. He never fulfilled that. He never did it. You're not going to get it elsewhere. So you need to deal with it in other ways and accept it in other ways so that you stop looking for it from the wrong people, from the wrong reason. It's exhausting for any spouse to try and be your lover and be your dad. It's not nice. It's not fair on them. Yeah. So whatever you do, whether you try so hard, you'll be swimming against the current. You'll always be fighting against that because you want that spouse to be your dad. He can't be your dad. That person is sharing a bed with you. He can't be your dad. It's one or the other. If you want him as a dad, then he won't be able to share the bed with you. So, yeah, it's a really big topic. Sonya again. Hello, are you still with us?
Yes, yes, I'm listening. I'm just thinking how to go about this question. It is quite a good question. Um,
Yeah, it is.
well, here again, we go back to the parenting. I think you should have asked your father at the same time, why isn't he giving you money? Like a friend say that maybe he was trying to teach you that you cannot have everything. You need to earn something. Because many parents think that giving children more than they need is spoiling them. I think this parent was very right in that. But it is how you took it as a child. We are not judging you, but we're just from this short you've written, just trying to make out what could be the reason. I think the best thing is even today, if you have anything in your mind that my father did this to me, did that to me, I think you should talk to him. Even right now, you should talk to him. Just go direct and ask him, why were you doing this to me? When he explains to you, maybe it will give you a different thought totally. And with your partner, my dear, how is it every other man's fault if something your father did to you? Does it make it right? No, it doesn't. It does not make it right completely. You cannot punish others because one was wrong with you. The best way is, like she was mentioning, please talk to your partner every time you fight with him or argue with him and you just go and tell him sorry. Don't go and tell him sorry. Go and tell him why you're doing this. Make him understand. Yeah, maybe when he will understand you better, there'll be a better communication between you. And I think that he will listen to you and try to be in your shoes more. So communicate with him and talk to him. And I'm sure things will work out in a very different manner, in a positive manner, I hope. So.
Thank you for that. I hope it works out for her, but we're happy to continue talking to her about it. She can also reach out so that we talk, because it's so hard to, talk about some of these things generally. Everybody's situation is different and they go deeper and deeper. The more you talk about it, it's just a whole thing. Yeah. So, yeah,
In fact,
very
I
nice.
just remembered Malkia, right?
Mm.
She should join us on Friday because we'll be having an expert on that, the field.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
so she can
brilliant.
talk to her directly. If she has any questions, it might be she'll be helped
Okay,
there better
brilliant.
than we can. Yeah,
Okay. At the end of this, we'll tell her where to find that resource so that you can go
yeah,
deeper on that as well.
yeah.
And then somebody saying, hello, team. Nice topic. Kindly help us understand this. I've observed kids being caned by their mothers at the same time being warned of crying. I mean, not to release any
Is
sound
this
while
Timothy?
taking the canes. Yeah, that's Timothy. Canes.
I
Hi,
can
Timothy.
know from his
Welcome.
handwriting.
Yeah, yeah,
Timothy,
I
I know
know
your
his
handwriting
handwriting too.
nowadays.
I know his handwriting too. Regardless of the pain, how would this affect the kid? What are the repercussions? Would it result to trauma? Would the victims defy advice? That goes without saying that it's evil. And yes, that's traumatizing. You as an adult, would you want somebody to punch you and to tell you, don't even dare cry, and punch you some more,
Yeah.
don't even dare cry?
Mm.
Just imagine telling that to a child who doesn't know how to express themselves in any form or manner. Yeah. In fact, the first thing people learn in this world is how to cry. And now you're telling them the only thing they know how to do, right, not to do? Oh my God, this is so pure evil. And then he goes to say, what are the repercussions of comparing kids' defying behavior to that of the parent? For instance, a mother accusing her own son of being lazy as father. What's the way forward on son?
Ouch.
Personally, I hate those comparisons. I don't know who wants to take those up.
I
I'll
can
take
take
that.
it.
I'll take
I can take the first
me.
part, yeah?
Yeah.
And the thing about trauma is it is passed from generation to generation to generation until one person feels the pain and cuts it off.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
And you will find this mother who is beating the child and telling them, don't cry, yeah? Probably, I can bet, I'm willing to bet the same thing happened to her. That is how she was raised. That is the kind of parenting she knows. So it's not even, she's not even doing it out of malice. It's only that she doesn't know any better. We are,
Mm-hmm.
like I was mentioning before, we are basically victims of victims. We are victims of, childhood trauma. Our parents are also victims from their parents, and their parents are also victims. So this is a whole, in fact, most of the time we call it generational curses. But really, it's just generational trauma being passed on because let's say my mom was severely beaten by my grandmother. She didn't know what was going on, so she didn't know how to deal with that. Yeah, then she got married, she got me and my siblings to catch up with her the same. Then
Mm,
even me, I didn't know by then, so I've been carrying my anger, my mom's
mm,
anger, my shosho's anger, my shosho's anger. I'm putting it on
mm,
my kids. So we
mm,
keep on, just passing the same thing until someone says, wait a minute, is this the right way? And
mm.
I think Tim was asking about the repercussions. What's the impact? Number one, what we are told, we learn how not to express ourselves. First, you're in pain,
Yes.
then you're told
Yes.
usioge. So even when there's so much going on
Yeah.
about us, we don't know how to express ourselves. Why? Because
Mm.
we never had that opportunity. We never had a safe space to
To
express
articulate
myself
out
and say,
yeah. Most kids sometimes they want to, you remember when you wanted to explain something, all you wanted to do is tell a parent why that happened, and you're not given a chance to even explain how it happened, why it happened. The more you try to talk, the more you'll be beaten to death. Now you'll be branded kichwa ngumu, anajibishana, you'll be branded I don't know what and what and what. And I think I just wanted to explain the situation before you've judged the situation. It didn't happen like that. Mm?
mm,
And now as an adult, you're expected to be able to express yourself while you're talking kila kitu, kila kitu, eh? And there was no explaining. So how is you supposed to show up to your boss and tell them, okay, I think I'm ready for this position. I want to be this and this. How are you going to show up to your colleagues and tell them, okay, I think I can lead the team in this? How are you going to tell them even that if you've not learned how to express yourself? And then you're surprised with that we can't have female leaders in our country, or different
yeah.
types of leaders in our country. We keep on having the same type of leaders. It's because the ones that could have led us were told not to express themselves. There were vichwa
Yeah.
ngumu, there were kelele, there were sijui, what was it, kierere, yeah?
Yeah. And I wanted
Eh,
to add something before Sonya answers the next question. And I just wanted to share that this particular situation, it's even worse with men, yeah? Because
mm,
men grew up being told, men don't cry. Then they grew
men
up
don't
being
cry.
told, mwanaume ni kuvumilia. A 5-year-old boy has
Mm,
been hurt. But when mwanaume vumilia, what the heck?
mm,
Then they grow up now. I research has it that what suicide rates in men is higher, four times
very
higher,
high,
four
very
times,
high.
because the same walifundishwa kunyamaza from kitambo, so mtu ana struggle anakufa tu na ma struggles zake, no one is talking, they don't
Mm,
know how to
mm,
express themselves. They are
yeah.
now our husbands, our partners, our boyfriends, we are there saying, babe, you don't talk, nikwambia nini, I don't even know where to start. Then we start saying,
Mm,
no, there's something wrong with them. Then kumbe pengine I'm thinking the issue is me in the relationship, yet maybe the man is thinking, okay, I need to get my financial status in order. But
yeah.
when he goes silent on me, then me, I'm coming in with my childhood trauma of he's ignoring me, he's cutting me off, he's probably seeing someone else, trust issues. Now imagine if we are paired like that and I have trust issues, he's keeping quiet, he's cheating. Oh, he's always on his phone. The dude could be on WhatsApp, on Facebook, trying to just, zoom out of his many challenges. Me, I'm there thinking, he's chatting someone. But he's found someone else. I can't even trust him. Then imagine if I think like that, my communication will be coming from, what the heck is wrong with you? You never
Mm,
talk. You never, and then this man cannot even explain himself. He never got that safe space when he was young. And here in his marriage, in his relationship, in his friendship, he still doesn't have safe space. So, what does that rise to? Mental
mm,
health issues. And right
mm.
now, mental health illnesses is way more common in men. And
It is.
as you're talking, it hit me. Yeah, as women, we cry. Oh, you've upset me. I cry and let it go. So what
Mm,
does a man do? Anafanya tu vile alifundishwa akiwa mtoto. They just
mm.
zoom off.
And then we don't even help much because we also reinforce that if you try to see him trying, if you try comes home utaanza kuambia your girlfriend, oh, imagine mwanangu, my man cry, mwanangu, he doesn't even at home where he's supposed to be free with you and tell you about this thing, he can't tell you. You feel where you're part of the problem, part of the society, you're part of umwache akuexplainia nini imefanyika kazini, you're just seeing a man who nags you like ana ukike sana ni mwanamke, eh? So there's no room and space for them to just vent it out, and venting is healthy. That's why as women we are lucky, we are so lucky because we are allowed to vent. The society, and we allow each other to vent, we give each other that safe space to vent. So we have that support system. When a fellow woman comes venting, we just let them vent away, we let them just take everything out because we feel it's normal, it's natural for a woman to vent, but the man hasn't got any outlet. Literally doesn't have any outlet. No outlet at all. Yeah. Is that something we didn't answer, Brenda? That was yours, Sonya.
Yeah,
Has that been answered?
yeah, she's
There
already
was
answered
another
that.
question.
Oh, you've answered that too. Okay, so
You've
yes.
answered that too.
Oh.
Okay.
I'll just add something on that.
Mm.
Please.
You see, as she was saying, our parents were beaten up by their parents, and so on and so forth. It is just a cycle which is going on. But
Mm.
now, at those days, we didn't even know what trauma meant, my dear. We can call
Yeah.
it the Stone Age. Now we are not in the Stone Age, so I think we can break the cycle now.
Mm.
It starts from you, with you and me. We cannot say because it happened to my parents, they did it to me, I will continue it. Somebody
Mm.
has to put a stop to it. Those
Yeah.
days, it was just going on and on because the the era was like that. But today we are more educated, we are more broad-minded. We are not into that small kind of a self-created culture, I would call it, because it was created by people. I don't think there's any culture which says beat a boy or a girl and tell them to keep quiet or shut up. No, It is a self-created things. But now we need to put a stop to it. If I see a boy crying, if he's fallen down and he's crying, I would never go and tell him, "Are you a girl? Why are you crying?" That is so
Mm,
wrong.
mm,
That is very
Mm,
wrong. You're already teaching a child a difference of gender, that a boy can do this, a girl can do this. So you are very
mm,
wrong yourself doing that and teaching that to a child. There is no difference. Like the other day we were talking about, why can't a boy go and cook in the kitchen? Why can't he wash up? Why do you say it is a girl's job? No, it is nobody's job. Nobody was born to and assigned to a job. It is everybody's, my dear. I don't think God gave us assignments. So please
mm,
stop that. It is
mm,
everybody who can do it. If we don't start this, it will keep on going on and on and on. Like she said,
mm.
yes, even I read this somewhere that the percentage of men committing suicide is more higher than women.
mm,
And by the way, women are born more, female are born more than men nowadays.
Yeah.
So
Mm,
imagine we're just going to finish the world so fast.
mm,
Who told you a man cannot cry? I have seen men watching movies getting so emotional and crying just by
yeah.
mm,
watching a movie. So
Mm,
imagine if you're fighting with your partner, what he's going to go through. The guy is even going to go to the bathroom and cry, but he can't cry in public
mm,
because he's just been taught not to. All
mm,
men, please cry. There's no shame in it. Like you
mm,
call women have a weapon, which is tears. You men can use that weapon as well. Why not? As I said, it is not, tears are not assigned to a particular gender. It is for
mm,
everyone. Animals
mm.
cry as well, and animals don't see that
Yeah.
I'm a male or a female. So
Yeah.
why would we see it? Why
Mm,
do we categorize so much on male and female? Let us just stop
mm,
that. Every
yeah.
human being is an emotional fool. Everyone is. Believe me.
Mm,
Some
mm,
are strong enough to show it. Some just don't want to show it.
mm,
But everybody is emotional, and everybody has a birthright to cry, remove
mm,
tears. Please do let your stress come out through your tears. Just do that. Don't worry. Don't even,
mm.
in fact, women, you say, Nicole, may go and make fun that, oh, my man was crying. Then I think you're the most silliest woman, I'm sorry to use that language, on earth, because you are taking your bedroom stories outside. You are the cause of breaking your own relationship
Mm,
because you are
yeah.
mouthing about your bedroom story outside, which should not happen ever. Male
mm,
and female. The day you stop doing that, I think you'll both live very happily. I think most of the problems are caused because of we go and bad mouth our partner. Yeah, I think I do it to myself, so I know. And
mm,
I regret doing it that. So I'm talking
mm.
from me and my own
Yeah.
experience. We should stop doing that and stop generalizing. Please, please, please. We're all human beings. Learn how to love it. I think I'm
Mm.
done with that, Timothy. Unless you're coming with a bigger question now. I think with Timothy,
No, well,
we are sitting in an
no,
examination
I
room.
like it
He
that
always comes with big questions.
I like that you always remind people about the boy child and stuff, and I like
Mm,
that about the chosen stuff, and that it's okay to cry. I think if we, the next generation, if our men also embrace the empathetic side of them, the
mm,
emotional side of them, we might even have a more peaceful, world. You seeing what is happening in America, the school shootings and stuff. Most of the time, I don't even think there's a female who's done it maybe one or two times or something, but mostly you find it from the boy child because some of the people are full of anger with no outlet, full of resentment, full of disappointment, full of, shattered dreams, full of all these things. And then what happens? One day they think, okay, maybe this will give me some relief. This will give me some sort of happiness. There's somebody who said something that is connected to that a little bit. Yes, they were taught to be men, but at some point, that child was empowered and the boy neglected. The change should come from generational parents. Yeah, I'm gonna defend this, but I agree with it. The thing is, we've always had an imbalance. We've still not found a way of
mm,
balancing the equilibrium, of having a balance. Because one point is that the girl child wasn't allowed to do this, couldn't go there, couldn't. And then all you wanted to do is make the girl child aware that no, it's got nothing to do with your sexuality. You can do all these things if you choose to do it. You can go to school, you can do this. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to be a housewife. You can be educated, you can be an engineer. So we did all that to get the girl child there. And unfortunately for us as a society is that once you're doing this, the boy child felt neglected. The boy child felt like, okay, now what about me? The boy child wasn't taught how to deal with this girl who could stand for herself, who could make decisions for herself, who knew what she wanted to do, who knew that, okay, I want to work too, I don't want to depend on your money, I'm okay working, we can both work. So there was that, and that's why we found that now the boy child was confused and so angry and so mad that when he ended up falling in love with this girl who could do anything for herself and stuff, there he is, jobless, full of anger, hating the society. He comes and tries to bring her down and push her down to his level or lower so that he feels empowered, he feels stronger, he feels something. But he can't do that because this girl has discovered herself. This girl has discovered that when I do sports and I win and the whole world is cheering me, I love it. I love the euphoria. I want that more of that. When I go on that platform in the church and sing in front of this crowd and see people's life being transformed, I love it. I feel electrified. I want to do more of it. So she wants to go back there every Sunday to do this. But you as a man, you're like, she's getting all that attention, she's getting all the show, she's bringing all the money, she's, what what about me? What about me? And that's why you end up taking their lives because you just can't contain her. She's just become too much. She's overflowing and your vessel didn't know how to handle it. So we didn't mean to neglect the boy child. Now we are bringing that awareness, but the boy child, the society already structured it to in their favor. That's why you find like the jobs they're already there. The girl child sometimes when she's a woman, she needs some time off to look after the baby. That's a biological thing. When she's pregnant, she's tired and stuff, so she has to be home. So it happened that the boy child managed to be on top of the corporal ladder than the girl. It had a lot of advantages towards one gender than the other. Yeah. And that was what we were trying to avoid now. And that's why the boy child did need empowering. But unfortunately, the boy child needs to be reminded that it's okay. It's not a competition against you. It's not a competition against you at all. It was just trying to fill these holes that were there as a society. Yeah.
I think we've got so many questions.
Yeah, we have policies, theories, talks, workshops, symposiums, experts all over giving lectures to people with papers and graduates. So how is this practically going to be applied for our young generation? What is our practical long-term action plan? How can we work together and assist to manage the mindset of others and the youth? Yeah, I think that's now will summarize and help us tackle today's topic. Thank you for that question. I think that's Thomas still. Yeah, so who wants to go first on that one? What was it? So the question basically is what is our practical long-term action plan? How can we work together to assist to manage the mindset of others and the youth? And how is it practically going to be applied for our young generation?
I can give it a try.
Please.
What I'd love to share is I think there's a quote that says, if you want to change the world, start with you. So if we want to impact others, if we want to cut off, this generational trauma, it has to start with me. Before I start asking my parents, my partner, my children to act differently, it has to start with me. I have to sit and look at, okay, how did my childhood experiences affect the way I think, the way I feel, the way I connect with myself, and the way I connect with other people? Okay, so maybe I could give an example. Maybe it shaped me. I feel like I have a lot of self-doubt, a poor self-image, poor self-esteem, because I grew up, I don't know, being told, Jinga wewe, you're not as beautiful as so and so, you're always last in class or something. So I've been struggling with all these ideas in my head. Then for me to change the world, I have to sit and realize, for me to change the youth and the future generation, and like these beliefs, these values, these thoughts are not my thoughts. These stories I told myself are not stories that are helping me. So how do I reparent my, that inner child? So this happened. Sikatai, this happened. And I told myself this story. So what did I need as a child? I needed to be heard. I needed to be listened to. I needed to be affirmed. So I'm going to do that for myself. I'm going
Yes.
to affirm myself. I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to take time to go through, the stories and the experiences, as bad as they were, feel the emotions, and just learn to let go. Because the reason why we keep on just taking it forward is because no one sat and processed those emotions. And emotions never go away until you process. And I love the example that Sonya mentioned when we were starting, that when someone is, very angry and talking, just let them, because they are processing. But now what happens when you tell them shut up? Oh, sasa hiyo ndio sasa anga inaendelea. Either it's gonna be now aggressive, or it's going to be passive aggressive. I will shut up na utajua kwenye nitakupata somewhere else. You'll find a couple arguing. They're arguing about, I don't know, the wife cooked rice, and it becomes a whole blown argument because the guy wanted chapati. But the argument is not about chapati and rice. It's about something else that happened so long ago that was not processed. So if we learn what is going on within, how do I communicate this? What needs to be healed? And I'm not waiting for my mom to come and tell me, hey, nilikucharaza when you were small and I know it affected you and I am so sorry. No, as in, even if you never got an apology from people who hurt you, we have to learn to sit with it, process it, and learn to let go. The reason why, it's because like we were mentioning, this trauma has happened, but we're still carrying the experiences in our heads. We are still reenacting the same situations, but with different people. So for us to just change that, for us to change that with the generations and the youth, it has to start with me. I have to realize, okay, I saw my parents fighting or arguing, or it was very chaotic, and that's what I'm reenacting in my relationships, and it's not healthy. I want to leave a love legacy for my kids. So what does that look like? Who must I become for me to have a healthy relationship with another person? It could be, what am I struggling with right now? I'm struggling maybe with anger. So how can I manage my anger? How can I be able to express myself in a way that, because anger inakwanga a result of things that umeka ukabottle up, then one day zinatoka. So how can I be able to express myself, the things I'm upset about, instead of waiting until, because it's just passive aggressive, instead of waiting until, something happens and I move from 0 to 100. So in so many words, what I'm saying is, for us to be able to change the mindsets of other people, other guys and the youth as well, it has to start with me. I cannot go sharing with Sonya about changing mindsets. Na mimi mwenyewe baadaye kiniangalia as an example, naona, oh my God, what are you telling me? So it has to start with me, that she looks and says, I don't know what is going on, but you're so peaceful nowadays. I want to be friends with you because I want to. Nini naendelea. I like how you're relating with your kids. Maybe I can pick something, one or two. That is how we change and impact the youth and generations.
Oh my goodness, man. Beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm
Beautiful.
still trying to digest it. Wow.
Yeah.
I was actually picturing it. So, wow.
Yeah, it's totally amazing. We don't want to face our demons. It starts with us. You couldn't have said it better. If you're waiting for that apology, it won't happen. You just have to sit down and talk to yourself and find that person within you. What did that child want to hear? What did that child need? Did that child wanted to be listened to? Did that child wanted to be loved? Did that child wanted to do what? We don't know how to love ourselves. That is a fact that we're beginning to realize, that a lot of the adults today don't even know how to love themselves. They think that buying themselves a new handbag is loving themselves. No, dear.
Yeah.
No, that handbag won't fill that gap. Tomorrow you'll need a new handbag, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day, you'll need that another shoes and another shoes and another shoe. That emptiness is still there. It's still there. Last time I recommended that beautiful book. I don't have it here on me. The Path Through the Jungle. Amazing book. And like so many books, we all understand things according to our own perspective, according to our whatever. It could be educational level, it could be experiences, it could be your own traumas. So it will hit you differently. So I don't want to ruin it, but I just have to use an example from that book. So the book does introduce two things, which is the chimp and the human. The human is the one, the human side of you is the one that knows that this is an argument. I don't want it to escalate, so I'll keep quiet. That's the human, and that's what the human would want to do. But most of the time, the human doesn't have any control. Most of the time, it's the chimp, because the chimp is the one that used to be there in the jungle, helping us not to be in danger. Spots a lion, spots a snake, wants you, run, run. That was what the chimp used to do. The chimp came in so handy, but the chimp now doesn't know. We don't know how to use the chimp wisely. We don't know how to befriend our chimp who used to protect us so much, and that's why sometimes we have this conflict. The chimp wants to be loud, to do things, to be out there. The human is the one that wants to reason. So when it comes to things like this, when it comes to childhood traumas and stuff, for me, what I think is that befriend that chimp. Remind that chimp that it's part of your journey, it's part of your life, it's very important, it has a role in your life. So that chimp is the one that still wants that parent to come and say, oh, sorry, I hurt you, I shouldn't have. That chimp wants you to, that person who molested you, to come and say, I was the adult here, I shouldn't have done that. But that person is not going to do it. That person is probably being dead or so ignorant, they don't know they did anything wrong. So that's not going to happen. Sit down with your chimp and tell them these things didn't happen to you. These are not what happened. They were wrong. The world was unfair. It wasn't fair on you. You were just a child. But we can work with this. We can manage this. We can deal with it. We can't do much about it, but we can manage it so that we live a healthy life. And that's all you need to do with your life, and manage that chimp so that your chimp doesn't go like being mad at people, being angry at people, going from 0 to 100, and then you become mad because you are mad. And now you're mad because you're mad because you're mad. And now you're always mad. And now everybody's like, you're always mad. You're mad at people for thinking that you're always mad and knowing that you're actually always mad. And cut it short. Forgive yourself, pardon yourself, have a meeting with yourself, and show yourself some love. Really show yourself some love. We talk about forgiveness on this platform so much. We every time, and Alice, you're always there, and Sonya mostly also there when we're talking about forgiveness. Forgiveness, self-forgiveness is transformative. Transformative. Forgive yourself for the fault the world did to you. It wasn't your fault. You were just a child. Forgive yourself for it. Love yourself. And it's hard for you to love yourself if you don't want to forgive yourself first. If you don't plan to practice self-forgiveness, you can't connect. So you have to let it go for you to fall. There's so much in love with yourself that you don't need that handbag. Yeah, it's nice to have, but you're not buying it to fill a gap at all. Those would be like days gone by. You won't even remember being that person who tried to fill that gap with stuff. Yeah. Sonia, do you want me to say you're quiet again?
I've just read something there. I'm stuck on it.
Gone.
Can't read fully. Yesterday, 6 boys were saved in the acts of being sodomized and being recruited in syndicate of porn production by some unethical businessman. The
The
proprietor
boys
has
one.
been
Okay. Okay. Let me put it up. Yeah, that one. Is that? Yeah.
no, this
Next
one.
one or
Yeah,
before?
there's. I think it's the next.
It was
Yesterday,
with the.
6 boys were saved.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that the one?
Let me just read. No,
Okay.
it just
Okay.
starts
Go
with
on. Just
yesterday.
read it
Six
then.
boys.
Okay. Go on. Just
Uh,
read it then. Uh-huh.
Yesterday, 6 boys were saved in the acts of being sodomized and being recruited in a syndicate of porn production. Oh my God. By some unethical businessman, the preparator has been arrested in the act, but the racket is being looked for. The boys apparently come from families with conflict when parents were called. This happened in Mombasa. We need to seriously listen and
Mm.
talk to adults before they commit into relationships and start reproduction, ending up with children suffering and being used. Oh my God. This is the Uswahili which I hate. I'm sorry, watu wa Mombasa, if you take it personally, please do. Because wewe ukiniambia, God has told me to have a child. God, it is God. God will feed him. God has not told you to be stupid. You are giving birth to children like you're mice. You're not rats that you just give birth and leave your children. No, you're human beings. If you cannot take care of your children, you cannot feed them, you can't educate them, stop having too many children. It is, I don't know where they think from. Every time, even when I talk to this households, oh, God has told us to have children. Ni Mungu, neema ya Mungu. Mungu has not told you to be stupid. He has not told you to have one, two, three, after I don't know how many, and you have no food in the house. You have no place to take them. You don't know what your children are doing when they're growing up. If you are not educated, you want your child not to be educated. Because you are a house help, you want your child to be a house help. Come on, guys. Tuache uswahili bana. Eh? I feel so bad for these children. This even happened, I think, in Nairobi. There was a case whereby, I don't know, it was a school bus or something which was caught. All these kids were in an orgy party. Can you believe that? Teenagers. What what kind of a world are we in? And this is happening because parents are neglecting their children. And I think he's very right. When we are doing workshops talking to children, or I think we should even talk to their parents. I mentioned this to someone, I think, that parents and children should be talked to together as well. Not only you're interacting with the children and only the parents. And how to tackle this is, you cannot teach an old dog new tricks. That is something impossible. You can always try, but it is something impossible. But what can break this barrier is the youth today. The youth is the one which is going to break this barrier between the old Stone Age and today's generation and the kids, the next generation. I think youth hold the biggest power. If we talk to youth and we teach them that that was wrong and this is now how it is supposed to be, our youths themselves, they don't know what trauma is. We need to teach our youth first. If we teach our youth, I think we've broken that old circle. I think we should
Yeah.
work on youth a lot. We've got too many organizations which are doing this. I think there's Haki Africa, I don't know, COA. There's so many in Mombasa that they want to do this, but I think by talking to children alone or teachers is not enough, because those children will talk to you, but what next? That child is still young to bring another generation, but there's a current generation which is bringing in more children. So we are just going to be pushing a child to a child, child to a child. We will never reach to a place whereby we can bring a change. So I think youth is the biggest factor which can bring a change on both sides, the children now and the generation which is going to bring more children. I think that we should be interacting with the youth, and youth are the ones who can change a mindset of a child more than us adults. Believe me, they will listen to youth because they think that they're nearly their age. We are too old to be listened to. They sometimes, even if you're talking to your child, they'll tell you, mom, come on, don't give me that. You've been through that. You see? So we are not even taken seriously by today's generation because we don't know how to interact with them. We don't, we are not on the same page with them actually. They're too fast on social media. Us, we're too behind. I cannot even type till date without looking down. Yeah, I am not on the same page with them. So a parent today, if you want a parent of yesterday to be a parent of today, there is a lot which that parent has to learn. And while you're teaching that parent, you still have to teach that child. And while those two are learning, the other kids who are born coming to that generation. So we need to put that stop now of the generation which is going to come. We can keep on tackling which is already there, but we can start with stopping from what is going to come, the next generation. I think I can say that this has really saddened me that this actually still happens. May God curse such a person. How can I don't even know how do people do such things to children. I don't even know if these guys are even fit enough to be called humans. They're worse than monsters. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Sorry, I
It's
can't speak right
that.
now.
Yeah. I know you're passionate about that because that's what you do on a day-to-day basis. And I don't know some things. No wonder we don't want to talk about these things. Once you start talking about it, it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing.
It
But
is.
and it is, and we become emotional, we become mad. Watu wa Mombasa, take it up with Sonya. Hiyo mi sitaingilia. Hiyo nyinyi ndio mmemchokoza wenyewe. Seriously, hiyo nyinyi ndio mmemchokoza wenyewe. Because how we are allowing such things to happen now, how these things are still happening, is so sad. It's so sad. And about the children thing, it's even a form of abuse, to be honest. It is an abuse. If you're going to keep on having children and you don't even have food for yourself, you don't have food for the firstborns, and it's so wrong. It's so wrong. Yeah, I don't have anything to add on that. It's bad. It's so wrong. It's so sad. Yeah. Anyway, me, I see now when I start seeing such kind. No wonder some people like to compare trauma because there's some you hear of.
Can I share something that I had that will just throw a spanner in the works? Yeah. And
Yeah. Okay.
we are talking
You
about.
do. Mm. I was just going to
Sorry.
tell Adija we are coming back to her. Hi Adija, welcome. We'll come back to your topic, please. And yeah, go on, dear. And for
And
10 minutes.
there's a time we're having the same conversation, yeah, about how parents who are not able to what is it called, to take care of children they already have, ending up having way more kids, yeah. And I remember someone mentioned something that for me like just removed shells from my eyes, and they said these couples utapata, they really okay, first they're poor, right? So they can't be able to afford much, yeah? So unapata the only sense of
Entertainment.
entertainment, guess is what? Ni ukweli,
Sex.
you got it right. The only sense, you see a rich couple say, babe, let's go for dinner, let's do Netflix, let's do sijui nini, let's go and I don't know watch this. Hakuna kitu ingine, ni si watoto waende wakalale,
Na
baba
hakuna
na
hata
mama
chembob ya kwenda
wanaongea.
kununua ile kitu ya kusaidia.
And then yes, because of most of the time poverty and education, lack of education go
Lack
together,
of
right?
education.
So even the idea of contraceptives and all that they might be having, but it's very distorted. Wamembebedhe ukimeza hii ama ukidungwa hii sindano, bas mayai yako yote dry, as in you'll never have kids. So the way I look at it, I really get what you're saying, but
That's how I see it
from
sometimes.
that point of si kupenda kwao, they also need help, so to speak.
They need educating. Alafu,
Yes.
yeah, they do need educating. Alafu kuna wale they think that the more they have, there's hope moja atakuwa president. So that's you think,
Yeah.
okay, ka president katatokeza from this lot, haiwezi kosekana ka president kamoja. So there's always that too. It's a difficult topic and it's sad. People need educating so that we reduce this, and the more like we share and learn. So unapata mtu anaweza say one person might learn here and then teach somebody else and teach somebody else, and then we reduce these cases, because mtu understand kuwa that being poor is a mindset too, is that it's something that can be changed by making small changes here and there, starting from somewhere, first maybe stop having the children in the first place, because the little you have to share it amongst I don't know how many of you. So that way it means you'll always be poor. You'll remain poor for a long time. There's school fees, there's viatu, there's I don't know what. So maybe the first thing is, if you stop having those children, then you're giving yourself a chance of coming out of this. Yeah, your money might go a little bit, a long way, just a little bit. So yeah, there's a lot of education that needs to be done, especially from also our government, having people help from such bodies, like just the women empowering, how it started, the girl empowerment. You see how it helped the girl child. So yeah, we still have a long way when it comes to that. There was something here Hadija shared on childhood traumas. There was the thing that there was this thing with our parents treating the children differently depending on the side they were named from. Then she lulled. Like if you are named from the mother's side, mom treats you better, and still with the
Yeah.
grandchildren. Shosho loves the child named after her, and if Babu
Yeah.
wasn't good to her, she was told the child was named after him. Wewe ulinitesa sana, lol. I'm glad that such things are fading away. It
Yeah.
just reminded me of the photo that's making round now of this child that is eating, I don't know, pizza or something on a car, and the other children are watching. That reminded me of that for some reason. Maybe walienda kuvisit shosho akasema huyu ndo anakaa wa pizza nini wengine.
It is
Have
our
you seen that
orthodox
photo?
thinking. No, I haven't said it. There's the orthodox thinking. We still live in that. Like, I will come back to that. They're having children not because that they don't know about this. They know, but they are taught that God has told you it is a gift from God. You cannot refuse a gift from God. And when
But
you say that,
education helps
that
you
is the
understand it
only.
differently. When you're
I have
educated,
tried
you
talking to many,
question
my dear.
things.
I have
It's
tried
a
to
whole
talking to
thing.
many, and the
It's a
reply
whole
they give
thing.
you would just say, God bless you. Just let God bless you. They have a
But
reply for
you
that.
know
That
what?
God has
You
said
have to
not
approach
to
them
use
from that
condoms.
point.
God
You
has
have to
refused you.
approach them from the point of God and from the point of their belief. But if you
You see,
come and you want to,
hapa it's a very difficult because utaona watu wameenda kanisani ama msikitini wamefundishwa hivyo. And now who are you to teach him if the pastor and the sheikh has taught
no,
us
we see
this?
mom, no, we see pastor.
Now you see that is where
Auendeshe
we
Range
are.
Rover kama pastor.
And then what we said is our entertainment, my dear. I don't know about the whole of Kenya, but most of the parts of Kenya, our entertainment is goks, bigoka. We have a lot of money to buy bigoka, and we'll go and sit outside with boys and men and eat, and we'll not spend that same time with our children and our family. Because we are men, men are supposed to do that. That is what we are taught.
Yeah.
Mama, your kazi is kukaa nyumbani, zaa watoto. If your man is not working, I don't care. You bring the food on the table. He will come after chewing. He needs food on the table because his mother was doing it for him. You do it for him. Nobody cares where you look the money for. Now, you are the one who has given birth to this child because the man had got nothing in it. He just got it through a Bluetooth, I guess, or an infrared. I don't know. Because the responsibility is ours. You are the one who gave
You've
birth.
created a new topic. I want to cut you short because we got to end
Okay.
this. So, sorry,
Yeah, all right.
Nadia. Now you
It's
brought a
okay. I
new
can go
topic.
on and
We
on.
have
You
a
know that.
but it's a very important thing. If you're going to break these things, we have to tackle every corner. If you want to stop these things, we have to tackle every corner. Yes, we have to tackle the fact that some people are being taught the wrong things, and then they never learn to unlearn it, and they don't want to accept that maybe they were taught the wrong thing and come out of it. Your pastor, your whatever has told you to have, God has said have as many children as you can, and then that they only have one, and they have a Range Rover, and you have 10, and you haven't got even a roof over your head, and the little money you have, you still got to give him your 10%, and you got to anyway. So that's a topic for another day. So I want us to summarize. So we were saying, you know what, a lot of us, we go like, oh, I'm fine, I turned out fine. That's how we dismiss a lot of things, isn't it? And then we find ourselves in our fine. You are asked, how is life, how is education? Fine. How is marriage? Fine. Oh, how was work today? Fine. So our world is full of fine, 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 but people are not fine. So we have in those sabotage relationships, like the one that was mentioned. We have in being in abusive friendships from people we love, from families. It comes from anywhere. Those abusive relationships come from anywhere. Even that best friend of yours sometimes is abusive. Some just love you because maybe when you go out sasa unafanya ananotisi kama anapata attention window. Some just love you because of the money or whatever. Some just love you because they can vent to you and they never allow you to vent back. So yeah, we too need garbage, garbage, garbage. So there's a lot of abusive relationship that people are in and they're not even aware. Then there'll be the tantrums and anger, the overworking, and you're like, oh, I'm probably hardworking. Hey. But where did it come out? You come from? How did it start that you are hardworking and you're always at work and never having time for yourself and resting? Then you, when you're not working, you're nursing your health. When you're not nursing your health, you're at work, back working. Procrastinating, being mean to others with our words, our action. So what exactly is being okay? So that was what that was the caption today. So can we summarize? We'll have 2-3 minutes each and just summarize to talk today's topic, the effects of childhood trauma. And I'll urge our viewers, our audience, please do tell me if you're asked to summarize this, if you've learned anything from this, what's your take? How can you summarize this, the effects of childhood trauma and the change that we should try and have and expect and everything? Who is gonna go first? This thing is so sad. It's escalated, but it should. It's so sad. Keep us posted. Keep us posted. I don't know if there's anything we can do about this.
Oh, please keep me posted on this. I will definitely come to the courtroom myself.
Yeah, we
What's
need to know
this
this by
nonsense?
Friday because the other platform is suitable for this. We need to know this about Friday and see whether there are things we could be doing as a community so that we help each
Yes,
other. Yeah, sorry about the
definitely,
family who
definitely.
are affected by this, and sorry about people who are seeing this
Who's posted that? I
unfolding.
cannot see the name.
I think this was Patel. Yeah, I think
Patel
that person.
Harendra.
Yeah, I
The
think
guy,
that.
the expert in this, the one
Yeah,
we did the first
our
interview.
psychologist. Yeah,
Yes, our first talk we did with him. Yeah,
yeah.
Mr. Patel, please keep me posted
Keep
about
us posted.
this.
Yeah,
I
I
would
really don't know
really,
how we
really,
can deal with this right now. How to tackle this
wow.
right now. It's just absolutely sad and thrown us. So, and yeah, who's gonna go first on trying to summarize this topic so that
I
what
can.
we aiming to do? Yeah,
I can go
say
fast.
you go fast. Our aim right now in the, you can take even 3 or so minutes. When you're doing this, our aim now is that if anybody has gone back and reflected or something has come up, and they're thinking, oh my god, yeah, oh my god, this is me, oh my god, this resonates with me. If anybody is thinking that right now, they can come up with something that they can start using that will be value for them. They spent 1.5 hours with us here. We don't want them going and thinking, okay, now what next? Or we want them to have felt like, okay, there is a way, there is something. Okay, yeah, go on, Alice.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll summarize it in 3 sentences. Yeah. And number one, the whole idea about understanding childhood trauma is not to apportion any blame, yeah, to our parents and say, by the way, I am so introverted and I don't talk to people because I never got attention, or whenever I wanted attention, I was never given. So I blame my
Mm-hmm.
parents for who I am today. No, the whole idea is not to blame anyone,
Mm-hmm.
but to understand ourselves and why we do the things that we do, so that if those things are not serving us, then we can be able to uproot. You know, most of the time we wonder, why do we do the things that I do? Some simple things, like even the way we handle money. Most of us struggle
Mm-hmm.
with money because our parents struggled with money. There was
Yeah.
just scarcity conversations
Yeah.
in the house. Hakuna pesa, tumeitishwa vitabu. Kwani that teacher thinks there's a bank in this house? You know, as in, even the conversations around money were not healthy. And then tutajipata, now we are grown as adults, we are having the same unhealthy conversations about money with ourselves, number one, with
Yeah.
the people around us. We even make jokes that, money is like sijui birds, it comes and flies. And then you expect to keep money, you will never keep, if that's the subconscious thinking that you have. So that's the second bit. The first one is just let's understand this is not about blaming anybody. Then the second bit, just understand how deep it affects you. This is the reason why I'm always so angry, or I like doing things this way, because yeah, this is where I picked it from. And then the last one, after you learn this is where I picked it from, then what next? Like I love what you mentioned earlier. If I wanted to be affirmed as a child, yeah, I can affirm myself. If I was never given the opportunity to speak up, then I can let that inner child speak up today. So if can I do that? Maybe, for example, by setting boundaries. So if someone is overstepping, I can be able to say, by the way, no, upon any cross, or don't do that, or I can maybe I was never taught how to express myself. What would I want my inner child to learn today, or to
Mm,
feel
mm,
comfortable, or to feel safe?
mm,
I
mm,
want her to learn how to express myself. I mean,
mhm,
to express herself. So if I am asked in a meeting, I go for an interview, and I'm
mm,
asked, what do I want? I won't shut up because, oh my God, like that is too big of a question because I don't know, or I'm
mm,
afraid of expressing.
mm,
I'd have given my inner child space to speak up. By
mm,
just me sitting by myself and asking Alice, what do you want? What do you really, really want? Not what you think the society wants. Like Sonya was mentioning,
mhm,
most of the time we're struggling with being authentic because we were never given that permission to be. So if we were never given, and I am here, how can I give myself?
mhm,
Okay, you want to be authentic? Yes. What does authenticity look like for you? So the whole idea is just taking time to understand ourselves better, understand how our childhood experiences shaped us. Not that now we can start complaining and make justifications, but so that we can learn, we can learn the things that we can learn new things and learn what is not serving us, and
mm,
relearn the good things we picked from our childhood. People picked parents praying for them and it worked. Pray for yourself, pray for your children. People picked very bad habits from childhood and learned them. Then after you are learning, what are you learning to replace this? So the whole
mm,
idea about just understanding childhood trauma, the main thing is to understand so that we can better ourselves, so
mm,
not justify ourselves.
mm.
That's it from me.
Okay.
Ah, that's nice. Yeah,
Nice.
that's so nice. That is so nice.
I would say like Patel Harendra, he's doing a fabulous job. He goes to school, to, he does this group programs whereby interacts with children and tries to help them. But his group is too small. He can't reach to everyone. So we need more and more youth to come out. We just cry that we don't have a job. I don't have a job too. It's been 3 years I'm jobless. But I'm still coming to do something for somebody. In my spare time, instead of not doing anything, why don't you go and help out somebody?
Mm,
Believe me, it'll even open doors for you
Mm,
because Almighty is going to be happy with you. You're doing for somebody else for once. Number two,
mm,
that happiness you bring in another person's life, believe me, your life will start glowing. So stop crying. We are jobless. If you're jobless, I hope that you get a job. But meanwhile, while you don't have a job, do something constructive. Go help somebody else. You youth are our future. Go and talk to these children. Go and talk to your parents, your neighbors. And if you see something like this happening, what happened to this six boys, and if you close your eyes or ears, you are worse than that culprit who did that to those children. Believe me,
mm,
you're worse. So please, 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 Let us stop all this together. We can do it only together. We need you, youth. Without you, we don't have a future. You are our future. So please, please, please change your mindset and start loving everyone and empower others. Please. Yeah. Keep
Yeah.
smiling. Love yourself always.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much. We just hope that for anyone to take time to watch this, it means that we are all concerned, we are all bothered, we are all working together to have a better world, make it a better place in our own little ways, in our own corners. So this is so amazing. I'm so grateful for everybody who has taken time to still be with us and watch this to the end. It's so nice that somebody takes the time and do this. Just remember the story of the little boy. I don't know. I'll just use whatever that comes in my mind as an example. The most important thing is the story. There was this little boy who was at the beach by the sea, and he kept on taking crayfish. I don't know that it was actually crayfish, and taking one at a time and chucking it back in the water there by the shoreline. And you take one and chuck it back in the water. But the place was so full of them. There were lots of them. Because what had happened, the water had come, and when the water went back, it left them all on the beach. So he kept on chucking one back and stuff. And there's somebody who was watching and thinking, why would somebody do that? And they kept on watching the boy taking one and doing that, the same thing. And they asked them, what are you doing? And the boy was saying, I'm saving them by throwing them back in the water where they can survive. And the guy was like, why would you do that? There's so many of them. You'll never be able to save them all. But the boy was like, but I saved that one.
Wow.
I saved that one. You don't have to save
Yes.
everybody, not everybody at the same time, but you save that one person. You save them by your knowledge, sharing your knowledge, your finances, sharing your money, sharing your food, sharing whatever. You have saved that one person, and hopefully that one person can save somebody else. So that is all that matters to be honest. And the more you try to help others, the more fulfilling the world becomes to you, the more you learn things, the more you attract better things in your life. Things will come to you. You start learning more and more. If you start showing interest in understanding child trauma, you start seeing things are coming to you and opening your eyes and like, oh, I didn't even realize that. Oh, I didn't even know that. And the more you learn, the more you help people. And even if you don't help anybody else, at least your children won't go through it. At least you'll reduce the chances of traumatizing your children. Even if you won't be perfect, but you have tried, you have done your best with whatever you have. And if you're going through something, if you're like the case of, that extreme abuse, you bottled it, it's not working, somebody violated you, you've tried everything, but nothing is working. Maybe you're not even an angry person. Maybe you have a healthy job, you try to have a healthy relationship, but still there's nothing embarrassing about seeking help. Go and seek that help, find help, get professional help from a professional, from an expert. Please do that. There's nothing embarrassing about it, and you'll find that all areas of your life will flourish. As life coaches, as we know our line of work and where we help and what we can do. And there are different types of coaches. Like we have Alice, who is a conscious life coach. For us, our job is to help with the journey in whatever you want to work on. Some people want to work on their finances. Some people want to work on their relationship. That's why we have relationship coaches. There are all those types of coaches out there. But a coach can only help you after you've maybe dealt with some things, or you're aware of them, or you're acceptance, whatever, accepting of the situation. But if those things are still clouding you and limiting you, you won't see things clearly, and you might not be able to do things clearly. Even if you're given some work to do, some homework to do by the person, go and do this so that you start advance your life. You probably go there and procrastinate. You go back to your TV and like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, because you've not dealt with those things. So yeah, go and seek help and deal with whatever that's happening in your life. There's nothing embarrassing. And we have a platform, a WhatsApp group where we just encourage each other. Right now it's a little bit quiet because I think most of the members are feeling okay-ish, but do join, and then we can always help you. We can always talk about stuff. Otherwise, on Friday, Sonya has a platform. She's passionate about orphan children. So she has a platform that helps orphan children, mostly orphan children. So she has a lot of mental health topics because the orphan children, they got forgotten. We are happy to give them clothes. We are happy to give them food, but we don't think of their mental well-being. What happens to them when they're there? What happens to them when they become adults? How are they going to be absorbed and integrated in our society that doesn't consider the fact that it's not a fair playground? So that's what Sonya do. So we hope you can see you Friday at Nguvu Moja. Yeah. I don't know. Anybody wants to add something? Alice, do you want to add something about where you can be found, you following anything? Anybody wants to add something? Maybe a minute each, and then we close up.
Okay. Anyone who would like to get in touch with me can connect with me on Facebook, alice.njambi the coach, or you can send me on a WhatsApp on 0757 68832 0757 68832.
Thank you, Sonya.
I think I don't know what I am anymore. If I am Moja or I'm success, I'm everywhere. So I think whichever forum I am in, I belong to that forum for that particular day.
Brilliant. I think you're easy to find. Alice also has a platform of hers, so do go and support Alice on her platform. Guys, asanteni sana. Good night, guys. Thank you so much, and God bless. Asanteni, asanteni, asanteni. We do more love.
Mine is
Oh,
still
Alice
not
yako
getting
kidogo
in.
itokeze vibaya. Alice kidogo itokeze vibaya kama
Yangu ndio
Oh, where
mbaya
am I?
kabisa. I don't even know what I'm doing.
Sonya, come on, you know. God bless you, everybody. Mungu awabariki.
Wacha kucheka. I will
Bye.
practice it now.
Anakucheka. Kuwa, you're terrible at it. Thank you, everybody. Lale
Good
unono,
night.
mlale salama.
Yeah.
Mungu awabariki.
Amen.
Okay, good night.